Hello and welcome back to CEO.CA's Inside the Boardroom. My name is James Petham, and today I'm excited to be joined by two members of the management team from Westhaven Gold, Eira Thomas and Gareth Thomas. Eira, Gareth, thanks so much for joining us today.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
So I want to maybe kick things off, Eira, with your journey to Westhaven. Walk us through maybe some of your career, how you joined Westhaven, and what you saw in the company that attracted you.
Okay, great. Thank you, James. So listen, Gareth and I grew up in a mining family. We've both had long careers in this business. I started principally in gold and then moved into diamonds, but have had broad exposure to different mining metals and materials for more than 30 years. I am a long-time investor in Westhaven. I really liked the thesis that Gareth had in acquiring a large land position in the Spence's Bridge Gold Belt. It's underexplored. It's incredibly well located, a mere 3-hour drive right off the highway outside of Merritt, a 3-hour drive from Vancouver. So I thought it was a really interesting thesis. And then over the last several years, I think the Westhaven team has done a really incredible job of really highlighting and showcasing, the potential of this very large, attractive land package. And Gareth will talk a bit about that in a moment. I have recently joined as chair of the board, and that has given me, even greater insight as to the work that's been undertaken by Westhaven over the last several years. And I continue to be more excited the more I learn. I really think this has the potential to be a multi-million ounce belt at the end of the day. And we're already well on our way, having completed the first PEA on the project last year that delivered some very attractive economics. And we are now, working hard to really unearth the full potential of the land package. And I really feel that we're just getting started.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Eira, for the overview. I guess, Gareth, maybe could you wind back the years for us? Tell us about your journey, starting this company from ground zero, bringing it, through to the company it is today, with some, significant milestones along the way and some major investments as well from the likes of Franco-Nevada and Rob McEwen.
Yeah, well, we're going back quite a long time now in the grand scheme of things. But we started off with this idea on the Spence's Bridge Gold Belt. We went public, Westhaven, on the notion that this was a very underexplored Cretaceous volcanic belt here that had really been overlooked for the bigger porphyry systems within the vicinity. So not going back into too much detail, but we realized we thought there was a big opportunity here. So we acquired the land in our first project, which was Shovelnose, and since have gone on to stake we're over 60,000 hectares along this belt now. We'd worked there every single year, drilled there every single year since 2011, but our big discovery came in 2018. I think we drilled up 9,000 meters from 2011 till 2018. Since then, well over 150,000 meters of drilling, trying to find, more, south zones, if you will, along this 4-kilometer long strike on Shovelnose. And and along the way, we've certainly, in 2022, we had the financing package with Franco-Nevada, where they acquired some royalties on our properties, and they also made an investment, which goes a long way and certainly a great stamp of approval. A group like Franco doesn't often get involved in companies, and that was pre-PEA as well. They've done a lot of due diligence and obviously saw an opportunity here. And as Eira mentioned there, we announced our inaugural PEA last year, very robust economics. Obviously, that was done at $1,800 gold, $22 silver. So that's certainly, going to be better today. On that note, we are initiating an updated PEA. Looks like we'll be sometime in Q1. We'll be looking to announce that relatively soon. And just as a few months ago or 2 months ago, we got Rob McEwen, a very nice endorsement and investment from Mr. McEwen, which we're very obviously very good news. I think he sees the potential here as well. And we think this is certainly, the South Zone PEA is a start. It's a relatively small area. And of course, we made the discoveries at FMN and Franz, about 2 and 3 kilometers away from the South Zone. So we'll be updating that in the PEA. And of course, this year's been certainly, we've taken our foot off the gas a little bit on the drill, though we still drilled almost 10,000 meters this year, but we've had a lot of boots on ground, which has led us to the discovery of this Certes zone. I guess we can call it a zone now, which we discovered about 6 kilometers to the southeast of the South Zone, which we're very excited about.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about the exploration work that's been done this year. It seems like Certes is the new focus. Can you tell us maybe what was some of the work that was completed this year? What's still pending release to the market in terms of your results from that exploration program?
Yes, I mean, Certes started off, it was discovered prospecting. Once again, you can't give enough value to the boots on ground approach, especially with this vast land package. And our team, Robin and Peter, did a great job in getting our geos, technical crews out in the field, silt samples, soil samples, rock samples. And this was discovered by old school prospecting. Someone saw a little bit of quartz veining sticking out. This has led to follow-up work there. We did a bit of trenching. We did some ground magnetics. And of course, we just drilled there. We have assays pending now from 6 holes there at Certes. And we certainly, we can say it was a success in that we've hit what appears to be, an epithermal system there. And now our goal by doing, which we're announced as well, we just started induced polarization all over Certes and covering another target called the Corral. So we're keen to see what that survey brings back in terms of results, but we will be looking to, regardless of these drill results, we like what we're seeing in terms of what appears to be a preserved epithermal system, whether we have to be deeper now, targeting these more deep-seated structures, or we're just trying to figure out where we are in the system, as our last news release has a nice schematic on there showing where we think we are. So we're hoping that IP will help us target, and we're likely to be back, not likely, we'll be back sort of mid to late January, which is another excellent thing about this property. Shovelnose is access, as Eira touched on earlier. It's we're able to work there all year round. So we're likely, once we get results back from the IP and the drilling, we'll be looking to start up early in 2025.
Great. I guess in terms of better defining your understanding of the system at Certes, you mentioned IP work going on right now, and then early 2025 continuing to further exploration work there. In terms of what you have planned or what you're hoping to achieve in terms of better defining that system, do you have a sense of the type of work? Is it going to be further drilling, a mix of mapping and drilling? Ideally, how do you really hone in on what you're seeing there?
I think for now it's going to be, we'll see what the IP survey comes back. We're also doing a more detailed ground magnetic survey as well. But I think what it will come down to is drilling. We're going to be drilling fairly close when we start up next to what we're drilling now. And once again, the assays will give us a little better indication of where we think we are Pathfinder-wise in the system. But drilling certainly to start in the winter. There'll be snow, so we won't be able to do much more field work in terms of boots on ground. But drilling for the first months of 2025, then we have loads of other targets here. Should mention there we acquired an additional 20,000 plus hectares all around our Shovelnose project. We staked an additional ourselves and acquired the majority of that through a deal we did with Talisker, but we're been working on those the past few months as well and seeing things there. So not to mention our 3 other projects which we've been working on as well. So there's lots of more work to be done, lots of follow-up work, but Certes is certainly taking our focus at the moment in terms of the potential there. We think there's certainly something of real interest there.
And James, I mean, maybe if I can just add kind of on the overall strategy. I mean, obviously we've been living through a really difficult market, and I think that Gareth and the team have done a really good job of kind of managing investment on the ground to progress the project, and at the same time really work to try and preserve share structure, and all of those considerations that are important in the future. So I think what's really intriguing about the Westhaven story is that we have an anchor with the South Zone and the PEA. And as Gareth mentioned, we've got additional resources that we're going to be adding in. We'll be obviously updating it for gold price as well. And that is something that we think is important to do because, again, this resource is located right next to a highway. So we want to advance that and keep things moving. We're going to continue to advance our efforts around our environmental baseline work, looking at our permitting strategy. I mean, we really believe the South Zone could be a very compelling standalone development project. But at the same time, we don't want to take our eye off the ball on what is the full potential of this epithermal system. And we've been, really fortunate recently to have been able to bring on a very experienced advisor named Fraser McCorkadale, who, has spent a career chasing epithermal deposits around the world. He brings a lot of expertise, and he reminds us that these systems and these pods of mineralization don't exist in isolation. We've got evidence, as Gareth has pointed out, of multiple anomalies on a very large structural trend, and we want to make sure that we're continuing to drill off some of the most prospective areas. Again, being very disciplined with the money that we have. This is not a market where we can go and spend $10 million a year on drilling. But we have enough targets, and we're logistically so well located that drilling is cheap, that we're able to advance on our exploration strategy as well. So it's really a two-pronged approach. Try and get Shovelnose kind of moving forward, and at the same time, let's advance some of the most exciting exploration targets. And as Gareth has just highlighted right now, Certes has really got our attention. That's been the main focus, and will continue to be the focus, I think, as we head into 2025.
Great. And Eira, you touched on something there that was also mentioned in the press release, but really showing the indications here of a large epithermal system. What's the significance of that as it relates to Shovelnose?
Well, I think what we're saying here is that, and I'm not an expert in these systems. Certainly, Gareth knows a lot more, and learning from Fraser, what he would say is you have to be prepared to drill a lot of gusters in these types of systems. That is just the reality of these low sulfidation epithermal gold systems. We've got to test a lot of targets, and all the evidence so far, whether it be geochemically, geologically, geophysically, or even from structural analysis, is that we are dealing with a large system, and these pods, again, don't occur in isolation. We've already demonstrated with step-outs from South Zone that we can find mineralization both at FMN and Franz, and now we're working on Certes. So, again, we really do believe that there's much more gold to find, and it has the earmarks of a large system.
Fantastic. And Gareth, you mentioned earlier the possibility of an updated PEA in Q1. Walk us through the next steps there. What needs to happen, and what are your expectations there?
Yeah, that's sort of hot off the press. Well, we haven't announced anything, but we are initiating with the same group, PEA Engineering out of Ontario, who did our last PEA and resource. We've just been in initial talks to get that rolling, as we think, I think as Eira touched on there, we certainly have what we feel is backstopped at $1,800 gold. You're sitting at a $222 million after-tax NPV, 35% IRR. I think it's a no-brainer, and we've been obviously trying to update our shareholders on where that stands. And for a while, we're going, well, let's keep the drill going. Does anyone care in this market what we do? But we think, obviously, with the spike in gold prices, And I think the ability, we think, to add a couple years mine life onto this and lower our capex. So we think there's a very good opportunity here to get that updated. And I think, as Eira mentioned there earlier, this is going to be a standalone mine, regardless of what's found here, which I think it won't be a standalone mine, but it will be, even, at today's prices. This thing's a very, the economics look really good on it. And for somebody, this is going to be a producing mine, but and we are going to, keep advancing this. And we feel the opportunities there. And of course, while exploring to find, hopefully more south zones.
Fantastic. And I guess just to wrap up, what can investors expect in terms of updates over the next, 6 to 12 months?
Well, drill, as mentioned there, we'll have some in the very near term. We'll have results from Certes drilling due back in the next few weeks here before Christmas, and then starting up drilling early in 2025. We've done that a few years where we're able to start up in the January, February. It's actually sometimes better to work up there when the ground's hard. So we'll have drill campaigns starting then, which not many can do in BC. So are many parts of the world that can't drill year round. So that's something very to look forward to there. Catalyst, and of course we'd be looking somewhere in Q1 for that updated MRE PEA, which would be at the same time. And then, hopefully continuing on in the spring, summer drill programs as well. And hopefully following up on the Certes. But once again, we got a lot of boots on ground. So we'll be doing a lot more boots on ground, which has obviously led to a lot of success, not just this year, in the last couple of years, in finding these new targets. And as Eira mentioned, again, these things take drilling, and they're not testing these, outside targets you're not always going to tag into a vein zone immediately, but if you're seeing that evidence of these epithermal systems, it's certainly encouraging. And this is a strong system where many other people have been up to site, have told us that, world-renowned epithermal geos. There's a lot going on here, so we're just trying to do our best to unearth more of those, vein swarms, and I think we're headed in the right direction.
Fantastic. Well, Eira, was there anything else to add there?
The only thing I was going to add is that, again, coming into the story new, certainly what I've been impressed with the team is the efforts that they've made since day one on collecting good quality environmental baseline data and working very closely with our communities of interest. Gareth has a strong relationship with local First Nations in the area, and have been actively engaged on the project since day one. So we really do believe, the South Zone represents a very compelling kind of development opportunity, even for a small company, because of its low capital and its location. And we're doing everything to make sure that we are advancing that such that, we can take this project forward ourselves, if that is the best way to unlock value for our shareholders. So I think that's the last thing I wanted to say, James. Thanks very much.
Fantastic. Well, Eira, Gareth, sounds like there are exciting updates for Westhaven pending imminently in the next few weeks and months. Looking forward to more updates over the coming months and year. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, James.